Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of U.S. History Made Plain. I'm a high school history teacher trying to make history as fun and interesting for my students as possible. So imagine you have these slaves who have a white man who is coming to them saying what they're doing to you was wrong, take these guns and kill your masters, and they're like, we good. I don't know who you are, but this just doesn't seem trustworthy. Like, I don't know that I trust you. So it didn't work out. Someone snitched and told the federal troops that were led by Robert E. Lee that John Brown and his boys were on their way to Harper's Ferry, and by the time they got there, they were waiting on them. They captured them, they put them on trial, they convicted them, and then hanged them for treason. So after John Brown was killed, a lot of the slaves who he tried to get to help him with this revolt were like, oh, he was the real deal. Like, he really did die for us. He really did die for this. He was really going to help us out. Dang, I wish I knew. I wish somebody had called me or something, sent me a text message or whatever, let me know who this man really was, because I didn't know. So John Brown became a martyr for the North because he was so anti-slavery, and he did die for that cause. And once the Civil War started a few years later, Northern troops would sing, "Glory, glory, hallelujah, his soul is marching on." Don't come for me about my voice, don't do it. But they were talking about John Brown because his whole thing was trying to end slavery. And so his soul is still marching as the Northern troops are trying to, win the war. And they eventually did win the war to end slavery, which was his entire goal. So John Brown and his uprising against the slave owners in Virginia actually had a different effect for different people. Some people were behind him, and some people really agreed with what he was trying to do, but some really didn't. For a lot of the Democrats, it looked just like to the Democrats, like what the Dred Scott decision looked like to the Republicans. So the Republicans felt like it was a ploy by the Democrats to try and change the entire, nation, trying to make the entire nation pro-slavery. Well, the Democrats felt the same way about the John Brown raid. Because there were people who provided money for him and allowed him to do this, they felt like all Republicans, supported this man as he tried to single-handedly end slavery, which it didn't happen, but it just was a bad look for Republicans, according to the Democrats. So it just divided the country even more, which just put some fuel on the fire that was going to become the Civil War very, very soon.